Disclaimer: the information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GAN's processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
One of the cornerstones of the knowledge to be understood for man to become passengers of the universe and what I call good citizens of this planet or any position in the universe is to know that everything he needs is free. Cosmic rays will supply. In some cases, we have to set up the structure for it to become a habit, and then the structure we set up becomes obsolete. In due course, as more and more people learn how to use it, but we have to set up these structures. We have to bring these structures that in doing so, you become part of, you become totality of, you become, in a way, members of the universal community without the universal community. What will be interesting is to see how the man moves from this position. Man has been subordinate to governors, rulers, and everything else except himself. Even the richest man is subjected to another president, and the richest president, the most powerful president, is a slave to another group who puts him there. Man should be free of these things. And to that effect, and to teach mankind to move on, we have brought in the new conditions. Understanding and work of the cosmic rays sits within the structure of the understanding of the work of the soul of the man. Once mankind understands how cosmic rays are produced, how they're controlled, in which level and how they are manipulated to create a condition of what is needed, mankind will find out, will tap into the universal community and universal energy in a direct way. But it takes time because he ignored it. He, in a way, over time, never understood what was part of him. To this effect is the job of creating one nation. And in that nation, no rulers, no one to be the head of, but all to be in position and a condition to achieve. These things take time, step by step, for mankind to develop, to understand. Our scientists and the people who work around the Keshe Foundation are getting enlightened. They can see. Slowly and gradually, they understand what it means is the cosmic rays which facilitates what we brought you for 3 years with the soul of the man. without the cosmic rays, without, in a way, when we say cosmic rays, is creator rays. The emission, the enlightenment of the knowledge through the knowledge and the fields of the creator, that's what to us is a cosmic ray, not what you see and you consider in the present world of physics. Once we understand, we have the control. Once we understand the process of the release of different fields in the cosmic rays, even the matter state is part of that cosmic rays, then we become independent. Then we learn how to tap into it. Then we become the creatures of the universe. In a way, we taught you about the nano-coating gases and the soul, but the creator of all this is the cosmic rays. It's the amalgamation of those who creates the matter states, the amalgamation of interaction of those who creates the gases, the amalgamation of the fields of the gases as a sperm or an egg or energy fields of the brain creates the soul. Now you understand why we brought you to this point, to understand the essence of cosmic rays. And in that process, man gradually will be graduated to understand the totality. It took us time to teach you in nanotechnology and the GANS technology and the soul of the man, and now you meet the creator, the fields of the universe from the source, from the creator, from subdivision and interaction of the fields of its own and none else. In a way, the cleverness of the creation was very simple. One single ray led to the creation of totality. Many of you should have understood this. In book 3, I clearly explained this. In book 3, I brought everything to be understood, but it's what it was and what was not understood, which is what I call the exciting part of the teaching. The understanding of the totality. We all come from one way. We all come from the essence of the creation of the creator and nothing else. In so many ways, we have become wise to understanding of the totality. Go back to the books. Go back to whatever I have thought over decades. Always comes from one field. The essence of the creation, the division of the field, the universe, and understanding of the totality of the interaction. When you look into the book number 1, when you look into the depths of the understanding of the knowledge and technology, what do you see? All comes from one thing. It begins from one and ends in one. And how it actually appears to be is the essence of the creation and the totality of what I call the work of the creator. When you look into the rays of the sun, when you look into the rays of the soul of the man, when you look in the dimension of understanding of the totality, it all comes from one ray. But in interacting with itself, in absorbing and releasing from its essence, leads to the creation of the rest. So, in fact, the creation and the creator is one. Look at the way I have drawn the shapes of the plasma over decades. It's one line circling around itself. No more. An interaction in circling around itself leads to the creation of interaction of, division of, and creation of. Depends on which level it interacts. Depends on what level it comes to meet its destiny and in a way understand its totality. Mankind needs to understand this, and once he understands that it all comes from one, mankind will see the totality of the knowledge. In a way, mankind become wise to understand his own creation. And then we come to one point. If the soul of the man is the creator of the man, so where the fields of the rays of the creation came. In so many ways, the interaction is at every level. And what did different strengths created that led in one point or another to one creation or the other. So the life exists in all dimensions. The life exists out of interaction of every point. So life as an intelligence, as a man of the universe, is in every point of the creation. Sometimes in the field of the universe, in traveling the span of the universe, they extract, and they meet, and leads to the creation of what we call a new life, a new understanding, carrying both of the lower and the higher order. And that point becomes a unique creation that itself by itself becomes a connection between all dimensions. And in reality, part of the life of the man, what we see as a man, sits in this point. We carry both the dimension of the matter state and the higher order, the soul of the man. And that creates a condition of the field of the universe to work within the physicality of the man, which the man calls the spirit, where the essence of, where the creation of the center of it is the soul of the field. Now you understand why we have to teach you about cosmic rays, and why the reason for it is your soul is connected, is created out, and it will take you, if you understand it, to every position in the universe, in how you interact, even to the creator. Now you understand the essence of creation. Many times you ask, how do we? What is God? How was it created? And what is the essence of His creation? In fact, we are all connected, all of us, in every shape or form, every creation in the universe, connected on the one shoestring of the fields of the Creator, in every essence of creation. Now you understand, as I repeat again, why we taught you about the nanotechnology, the GANS technology, and 2 or 3 years about the soul, where every one condition leads to the creation of the other, but it made you to understand the creation of your own soul. And then it comes to the biggest question for man to understand. Do we need the physical body to create that soul? Do we need the egg and the sperm, which man has confined his knowledge to it for past millions of years? Now man understands even the sperm and egg are the source, are the essence of the delivery of that field to create the sparkle, the first what are called trigger lights of the creation of the condition for the fields of the universe to come together to lead to the creation of the soul. Then do we need a man and a woman to create the condition of the creation? Or by the interaction of the field of the universe, understanding the work of the what we call cosmic rays, creation of the original field, we can lead to creation of life at any point and any situation and anywhere in the universe. I made man in the image of myself, because now man is from me that is made.
Hello and welcome, everyone. Welcome to the 467th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, January 12th, 2023. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the Public Teachings in English. My name is Rick Crammond, and I'll be host once again in these weekly series of workshops. And this is a special 7 p.m. session for today. And I believe Mr. Keshe is ready to go to present things. Go ahead, Mr. Keshe.
Good day to you, as usual, wherever and whenever you listen to this series of Knowledge Seekers of Keshe Foundation and Spaceship Institute. In sharing knowledge and understanding each other more in how we came and where we go. Today's session, for certain reasons, had to be changed later on. We go back to normal timing from next Thursday as usual. And we'll see where we get. Next week on the 20th, we have a special session, as many of you have joined us and signed up to be part of the 20th, what we call Interaction of the Souls. Many of you have written and asking a question: what would be on the 20th? What will happen? What's the purpose? What we're going to do? We gave you a Christmas gift. We allowed you to, we create a condition to, we facilitated a condition for the man for the first time to see how he connects with his creator. In time, we have worked in time, if you go back, by putting ganses into the rivers, cities, as many of you do every Sunday and other days. You continuously add energy, ganses, literally like a sun. You add to bring the balance to what this planet, through its strength of its creation, did not give to the man, that the man had to get it by what we call the 20% dimension of the energies, by consuming energy in packages of this planet. The same thing has happened in past thousands of years, when man could not get what wanted, or when he saw other things from this planet, saw his weakness, and he got himself to accept other peoples who maybe understood or maybe did not understand, as people who will guide him to be able to be safe, to get what he wants. If he rained, they did the dance rain. They sacrificed bodies because they said that the thing will change, the drought will die, and everything else. Then he saw himself weak in respect to this planet. And he started believing in statues, something that I know is there, but I have no access, but I make something out of it. And then I accepted to be stronger than me. So he created the statues, stones, woods, in any shape or form. And in that process, man who understood and got elevated by the process of the understanding at the time of its life, they got enlightened. They saw more of. Then we call them the prophets. And in that process, many of us as the human race chose one to the other. And in a different name, we accepted the same soul. We accepted the understanding of that soul in a physical dimension. But in a way, the soul as a soul of a connected to the knowledge of the universe was no fault in it. But the soul in connection to the man has deviation. It had impurities. It had something which would not fit into the other part. We gave, and we still do, give answers to this planet regularly to change, to bring that change in the physical dimension of the soul of the planet. Now man has to understand from what happened on the 16th of last month, in December 16th, 2022, we took you to join the soul of the prophets in what you believe as messengers. And then collectively, you came to understand, to connect to the soul of the Creator. We saw faults in the structure of this planet. And with cancers and the new understanding of the fields of the plasma, we start correcting it. On the 20th, we take the next step to bring correction to the soul of those who we call messengers, which you already have been in touch with. Elevation of the soul of them, the collective but perfect collection of the souls of the man, we complete the other side of the elevation of the soul of the man. What does this mean? The prophets have two souls. One is the soul of the man, and one is the soul as the messengers of the Creator. Understanding elevation of the message of the creation. One is faultless, and the other one has faults. It's the responsibility of man today to correct that part, to elevate the physical soul. That in that point, we all come to understand that through their elevation, their followers get elevated and all become equal. World peace is not possible by just stopping the guns and the bullets, because in another few weeks, in another few months, in another few years, man will go to it again, will kill again, will find an excuse to kill again. As we perfect the soul of this planet to feed its citizens the way now we have learned through the cosmic rays, to feed the citizens of it that they don't kill anymore. And this process has already started. Now we have to correct, to perfect the soul of those who we believe in trust with the soul of the Creator. We call them the messengers. One of the main reasons of the 20th of January is for you to directly to become, individually as a whole, in touch with the soul of those who you believe in. To elevate them in the soul of physicality. Collectively, as citizens of this planet, you elevate the soul of physicality of anyone you believe in. Because the soul of the messenger as a soul is perfect. It's the soul of the physicality, which is in the ways the spirit of the life of man has fault in it, needs correction. And when that correction is done, peace will come. In a way, you become a tool to elevate the weakness, to correct, to bring back the soul of what went wrong, to correct. That in that, with the transfer of the knowledge to his followers, you correct them. We corrected the 10 Commandments and completed. But we collected the message but we did not correct the conduct of the messenger itself, the killing he carried out. We did not correct the ones who beheaded people as the way to be believed in the Creator. The purpose of the 20th is as soul of those who we believe in world peace, in oneness of the humanity, in oneness of the creation, to elevate those who we believed in to be correct in the dimension of the physicality. So next Friday, you ask me many questions. The answer is you will meet the soul of you, those who believe in. For you, collectively from all path of life, to correct them one by one. One by one. Last time we allowed you to elevate, to join the soul. This time we allow you to elevate the soul, which you in the dimension of physicality believe in. But in the dimension of physicality, that soul failed to complete the cycle. Now you understand. And this, when it happens, when it completes itself, brings peace, a permanent peace on this planet. We have gone through the correction, the elevation of the soul of the planet and its citizens. But the citizens have one fault. They are believers. They have accepted to themselves to believe in the word, in the way of the Creator, but they have seen the fault of the one who brought the message. Once that corrected, we will see the followers of each religion. It's like the soul of physicality of the structure of this soul of the man, the soul of creation, will be perfect. And a perfect soul will not create war. Peace on this planet, peace to be kept throughout the universe, cannot come unless man understands where the weakness was, which led. You still get your energies from the universe through cosmic rays, but through the path of the emotion, you are connected to the man who's done wrong. Beheading, execution, in the name of something wrong that God and the Creator, or to believing one. We stop the animal behavior through the dimension of 20%, but we have to stop the animal behavior through the soul of the interaction of the man in the path of his belief. Otherwise, we stop the physicality, but the emotion will force to kill in the name of God. Be it Jewish, be it Muslim, be it Christian, be it Zoroastrians, be it Buddhist, or any other way the man believes in. It's like repairing a car, leaving one tire punctured and hoping that the car can go perfect. You, in the dimension of physicality, by adding to the ganses and to the understanding of the correction of the fields of this planet and yourself, you have corrected the dimension of the soul. But the dimension of the emotion of the man has a weakness in it. This is why we see animosity between the Jews, Christians, Muslims, and everything else. Because once you understand, the whole thing is from one, but the weakness in the physicality has caused the emotion of the man to take the next step. We shall see the end of the wars. The war between the soul of the man and the soul of physicality of the man in a dimension of accepting the messengers of God. The message itself is perfect. It's the messenger which has a faulty soul in a dimension of the soul of physicality. How can you say, I believe in Christ, and he says, thou shalt not kill? And then you kill in the name of the religion, which told you not to kill. Unless your soul has elevated to understand the message was given the wrong way because of the weakness in understanding of the soul of the physicality of the messenger, and it's your time to correct. Then you understand the true peace will come, where the soul of physicality and the soul of the man in a dimension of fields of the universe have no difference. They become one. And then you find a peace. The man who brought the message of thou shalt not kill, he killed more than any other creature at his time and his duration of existence in dimension of physicality on this planet. So what was the message for? The man who says peace in the word of, it says as a beginning of, creates war by killing the man who does not believe in him. The fundamental of whole understanding of what he brought only fitted on the paper, not in practicality. Now you understand. To complete the process of peace has not come just by guns, but in the emotion of the man, in the belief of understanding where it went wrong from the path it started. Now you understand. Then we explain to you what is to happen in the February meeting. When you come on Friday the 20th, come fully armed to understand the responsibility you accept, to be part of, to be a collective source to elevate the soul, the physical soul dimension of the man who you believed in this world, in showing you the path to the Creator. Now you understand. Now you understand what we told you. There'll be surprise. That the soul of the man at this moment of time in a collective awareness has become so bigger and much stronger in elevation, in understanding, that now has the power to correct the man who he believed in from childhood, from the first word, in his soul of physicality and the message of his message. Now you understand how perfect the present soul of those who believe in the truth of understanding of the work has become. You believe, you understand, because you did on the 16th. You saw you all have the power to become one. And when you look at the figures, when you look at the pictures, when the soul of the man joined the soul of the prophets, we saw vibration. We saw inconsistency. Because if it was one, the soul of the physicality of the prophets were correct, we should have not seen that. We should have become a straight line from that point. Means the soul of the messengers has a fault in the structure of the soul of physicality. As you, as man, you join the soul of the prophets in the dimension of the soul of physicality. Before you, as a lot, you became to come in touch with the soul of the Creator. And you became one. Now, do you want to be the one who's going to correct, who's going to be part of remedying the soul of the man? We can stop the war with the armies in the national front, in the nationalism. But we see the religions in the back, in the name of the Creator, through the fault of the physicality of their messengers, create a war through religion. We ended the war 2 years ago. We saw no more all coming to an end. And then we saw the flaring of the Ukrainian war, again through religion, because it was not fixed. At that time, we could not tell you, and we kept on telling you, this is a war of religions. Within the religion, within the 72 ships of name of Christ, bless his name, in the soul of the Creator. Man will not have peace on this planet to elevate the physical soul of the messengers who brought the message of peace, and they themselves destroyed it. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalam means peace on you. How come the Islamic religion beheads? There is a fault in the messenger, not the message. Thou shall not kill, and we see most of the wars financed by Vatican. So once you elevate the soul of the physicality of the messenger, he, through the belief and connection to what is believed in, corrects the Pope, Ayatollah Khamenei, and the rest of it. And we'll see the lasting peace the man has been waiting for. You cannot stop a fire when there's a little fire simmering under in the name of religion, where the messenger himself had a fault in the structure, creation of his message. How can you say, Salam, peace on you, when I behead you if you don't believe in me, or I don't get what I want? Now you have your answer for the 20th. Join as many races, colors, religions, and path of belief to elevate the soul of what you believe in. Even you're atheist, you still believe because you came on the line of the people who believed in them. Now you understand what is about to happen on the 20th. You will meet with the soul of those who believed in the message of the soul. Elevate them. Give them freely, that the soul of the physicality become the same as the soul of the message and the messenger and the creator. That we'll see the lasting peace. Not only on this planet, then man will not be fooled by no magician across the universe. You don't need to accept any more messengers if you understand the truth. If you understand even those of you in the future through your soul or subdivision of your souls become the messengers in another part of the universe. The conduct, the message, and the messenger and the soul of creator shall be one. Peace on this planet will not come unless the essence of the foundation of the soul of the messengers who brought the message of the creator is corrected, elevated, becomes to understand by elevation of them that conflict between the soul of the physicality of the messenger and the soul of the creator as a message become one. Then that, as every plasma connected to by the path of belief, will be perfected. Ayatollahs will put their turbine on the floor, Vatican will shut itself, because they get the message through their soul. We see then the whole. We see peace among the dimension of physicality and the soul of physicality and the soul of the man on this planet and beyond. This is the only way man will find peace with himself, with the path of the belief and the path to his creator. Now, how many of you would like to meet with your messenger and tell him, you brought me to believe in the creator, but I'm here to elevate you to believe in the path of the elevation of your soul, to in the dimension of life, to be correct. Well, you went wrong. We don't touch the face of that we become another one to be killed of. We come to elevate the soul of that you do not want to see the picture. The 20th of January 2023 is a phase where number of you who are chosen to be, and you'll come forward with the dimension of the soul, will come to see your own messengers in the dimension of the soul. Some of you might face-to-face see the physicality or a dimension of physicality, or feel the dimension of physicality, or even see the face. I gave you one promise. I'll take you to see your Christ. Next Friday, you can try and see if the message and the messenger need elevation to become one. The same of those who are in the name of Muhammad or Moses or anybody else. The level of understanding, which means the understanding, the elevation of the soul of the man of today, has reached above the level of the soul of the prophet of the past. Because now you know the truth and there is nothing to be hidden and there's no messenger in between. Not even me. We are teachers, not messengers. You have to come to a point to understand that the world peace on this planet and the world of the man will not achieve as long as the man creates a division in the path of the way as you all became one on the 16th of December. For the first time, you all became one. There was no religion except your souls. Even the soul of your messengers became part of yours. We don't see different lines, the soul of Christ. We don't see a line, the soul of Muhammad. We don't see a line, Rick. We don't see a line, John. It's one light. And a four system all tells us the same as one light. Then you understand how important the next coming weeks and months in the cycle of the knowledge shall be. When your soul of physicality and the soul of the man become one, you can transmute. That's why, go back in all my teachings, I said the world leaders will walk away because they cannot bring the soul of physicality, which is on so much wrong, to the soul of the man, to be equal to the soul of Creator. Now you understand. I have given you the teaching. It's for you to understand the message and become the messengers of your own soul and nobody else's except yourself. Now, it's very clear where we are heading for. World peace will not come to the financial stability. World peace will not come through putting the guns down. The world peace will come when the soul of the physicality and the soul of the man become one. And the soul of physicality of those who you believe in has never came to be connected to their own soul as the soul of the messengers. And that's the mayhem we have in the name of the religions, one on the Friday closing, one on Saturday shutting, and one on Sunday going, ringing the bells. Then if you get another 4 or 5 messengers, you'll be closed the whole week. What can you do on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and the Thursday? So we need 4 more religions and the path of belief to complete the week. How ridiculous. Now you understand. Now you see how the progressive development of understanding of the elevation of the soul of the man has led the man at this point to understand that in soul is the same as the Creator. As he could not be any different. I made man in the image of myself. I made man out of my own soul. How can he be any other thing? Now, many of you will try, will see, and you try to understand what is about to come. Come with me on Friday, the 20th of January 2023, and meet the soul of your messenger. See, if you have reached that elevation of soul, that the elevation of your soul can elevate the soul of the physicality of the man you believe in. Then you understand, do I need messengers? When I can elevate the soul of my own messenger. But he forgot to tell me not to kill. Because this way he wouldn't become rich. He wouldn't become king, be the King David, or being a king in the false desert of Saudi Arabia. Now we understand. For the first time, maybe you come to comprehend the reason as teachers become. To enlighten, to teach the path to enlightenment of every soul, and not hidden that will be for a few to be kept in churches, in the mosques and temples, that then we can abuse the others for what we know. Maybe again, for the first time, you come to understand the purpose of these teachings. We seek the knowledge of peace. We seek the knowledge of love, which is the essence of the creation and the creator. Maybe now you understand why you are here, why you and the generations to come will listen to these teachings and become wise, not to be fooled by magicians of the universe. No one can pull a rabbit out of the hat, because you know he put the rabbit in there before you noticed. Maybe the time has come for the soul of the man to become educated in the soul of his own existence. How do you feel when you go as a PhD, as an engineer, back to the primary schools you came from, you sit with the teacher, and then you teach your own teacher? You explain the extension of the knowledge that he or she didn't know. That elevate his soul to understand as much as you. This is your job next Friday, to go back to your teachers, to messengers, and elevate their soul of physicality to understand they could not steal from you. That's why the whole structure of this planet is in this mayhem of today. You cannot do one without the other. We silenced the guns. All of you brought the peace. Now we see the religions have started it in the name of Ukrainian Catholic Church and the Church of Russia. There. Israelis open an office with the Saudis and with the Emirates. The others do with the others, but the Christians are at each other's throat in the name of Ukrainian war. Because the commandment was stolen from in the soul of the essence of the messenger. Now the book of wisdom of peace for man is open. How much wise and how wiser you are to be part of to bring that change. When you sit in front of your teacher, you say, teacher, this is what was taught in the past. I learned this in university, and this is what is the new science. The soul of the Christ, the soul of Muhammad, the soul of Moses, the soul of Buddha, whatever you believe in, needs that elevation, education to understand what it is, what has been, and what it has to be. You become the messengers of your own messengers to the dimension of the soul to teach the soul of physicality. Maybe those wrongs did by them through the giving by your soul will be corrected, elevated, and man will find peace in 2023. in the true essence of the peace. Then you become the true messengers, true passengers, and true passengers of the universe. Maybe today's teaching, the message is complete. Maybe you understood for the first time why you are here. There is another piece of jigsaw which was missing. And today we put it there and then. Maybe the world leaders of the religions that call themselves being elevated by the soul of their messengers that they believe in a false way will elevate them, that they walk away from religion. The only religion is the path to the Creator and no other. You make name for it. But in fact, the truth is it's all one. The messages are coming, the teaching are becoming very fast. Many of you are becoming punch drunk with understanding of the strength of your own soul. I didn't know I can do that. I can elevate the soul of the Christ. I can elevate the soul of the Moses. I can elevate the soul of the physicality of the Muhammad. No Ayatollah can put a fatwa on me as they put fatwa on themselves. It's the end of the religions because you come to correct that religion yourself, that the man will become one between the soul of physicality himself and the soul of the man himself and the Creator. The system shows. What you see a straight line is the collective soul of few 160 odd people, plus your profits within that shrinkage and jump before that, and your Creator. Many of you were in that meeting. You participated through your soul, even with all the noise of physicality in front. Can you show me any of you which line, which dot is your soul? Can any of you tell me which bit is yours? Because you're all one. The end of conflict on this planet and beyond, and man to teach this to the rest of the universe is true understanding of what has gone wrong and correcting the wrong. First, man through the cosmic ray does not need to kill. In a very short time, will teach you how. You already have seen some of you. And the other is to elevate the soul of the physicality of your prophet, which done so much wrong. He came down the mountain with balance broken on the way to benefit himself. Instead of bringing what it was, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, he went to kill and steal from every tribe in Palestine. In the name of whatever. What happened to the message? When the messenger does exactly opposite to what he was supposed to do. What he brought as a message. Touch me, I take your soul to be elevated that you forgot even you can touch. Now you understand. Now mankind is ready for the true peace. You have found through the elevation of the rays of the universe, the elevation of your soul, that thou shalt not kill physically to take from the rays. But the ray of the emotion has a conflict in the way, the path of your belief you came for those who were the passengers to and the messengers from. Correct that, and man will find peace on this planet and beyond. And Friday, the 20th of January, is that cycle. come and meet the soul of the Christ. Many of you came to Linz and touched and felt and became with him. So we don't lie. Come and elevate the soul of physicality of those who believe in, which in the dimension of physicality, they failed to deliver what the message was, which they brought themselves to benefit themselves only, and I forgot the true message which came with it. Teachers, when you make a mistake, they put a red line and they say, that's where the mistake is. I draw the red line today. That's the mistake. And that's where man will not find peace. And it's your job to bring that. When you correct the source, the rivers down the line will not have poison in it. Now you understand. Join each other to bring one, not by going to each other's mosque and synagogue, but elevating the soul of those who created the basis of these places, that it all has to be called the house of God. Does not matter what you call it, the path to the Creator. I hope you understood what the message is today. And I hope you are strong enough to face your messages. This is the fulfillment of what I promised. I promise you I'll bring you to see the Christ, soul of Christ. Next Friday is your time. But you have to understand the soul of the messenger itself has not been elevated, even though he brought the message. It's like a lover writing to his loved one, putting it in an envelope. And the postman is a criminal. It delivers the letter of love, but changing it to suit himself. And this is what happened with the prophet of the past. The message of the love from one lover to another has not changed, from the creator to the created. It's the postman who has tampered with the message. And it's for the lover and one who is to be loved to understand that the love between the two is true and unbreakable. Does not matter what criminal carries the message and the envelope. I hope you understand, and I hope you're there to be strong enough to understand what is to be done next week. You wanted to meet the soul of Christ. Join us next week and see if you have elevated your own soul, that it can become the elevator of other souls and the soul of physicality of the others. Then you understand, I'm made man in the image of myself. And on the way somebody throws the stone to deviate that image, but cannot. Now we know the truth. Thank you very much for today. And I hope you understood. And you received the message from your soul, not from any others. We'll go through a small break, come back, and we answer any questions you might have.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. Keshe. This is the 467th Knowledge Seekers Workshop, and we'll take a short intermission here and be back.
The revolutionary new Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit is due to be launched in June 2022, and in the same year is expected to fly passengers into space, to the moon and beyond for a day or even several days at a time. There is no need for the Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit to carry food or medicine, as it is equipped with the latest space technology for transportation, transmutation and deep space operation. This extraordinary breakthrough technology ushers in a new era of travel without the need of fuel, food, or medicine, even during the longest excursions into deep space. Each spaceship unit has a 4-passenger capacity for long or short duration flights and has the capability to travel between cities on Earth in a matter of seconds to minutes, depending on the distance and speed. This ability to traverse massive distance in such incredibly short time is not just a breakthrough for human transport, it also completely revolutionizes the transportation of goods and cargo, and will rapidly overcome the need for one of our most polluting practices, namely marine shipping, as it finally breaks us free not only from the combustion of heavy diesel, but from the combustion of any fuel for propulsion in the future. The Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit, a new paradigm in space travel, space medicine, and space technology.
Welcome back to our 467th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, January 12th, 2023. Mr. Keshe, are you ready to continue with the workshop here?
Yes, ready and willing.
Okay, we have an attendee with a hand up here. Ed, would you like to go ahead first, please?
Yes, thank you, Rick. Good evening, Mr. Keshe. This is Ed from Indiana. I have a question about elevating the soul of the messengers. I understand, like in the case of Moses, the dichotomy between what he was, the message he brought, or in the ones that the tablets that were destroyed, and then his actions following. Many of the other messengers, maybe I don't know enough about their lifestyle or, their lives, but I always attributed the actions of enforcing a religion or a follower of a certain message to the followers themselves, the leadership, people who took it upon themselves to say, this is the way. And this must be followed. And then the killing followed to enforce a certain path of belief. I didn't understand, and I kind of don't understand that it was the fault of the messenger rather than the fault of those who followed.
The messenger set the example. And those who were near them followed them, and then it became the path of the rest because they did the same.
So the messengers themselves had an issue with them being the sole arbiter of truth?
In a way, let me explain to you in some way so I understand. Today, what we see with Zoroastrians,
Yeah.
They try to leave the path of Zoroastrian. Talk good, do good, act good. If you are amongst them, you see them living that kind of life. It doesn't mean they're perfect. They still have their own problems. They need elevation. When you look at Islam, Muhammad pushed the religion by killing. You had to say one sentence. If you didn't say, he beheaded you. And then he told his uncles and his cousins, don't touch the Iranian Empire because they already believe in Christ, in God. What did they do? The minute he died, they went for it. How could he do what we cannot do? We see the same thing in the Jewish cycle. We see it today. The same thing came through Christ. Because he was, you call it the Old Testament and the New Testament. What would happen if Christ would not be killed? And he would have gone through his natural cycle of life, 60, 70 years. Would we have seen the end of, or would we have seen another cycle of? The end of wars, the end of what he was promising, or a new cycle of killing and everything else which his followers to their own benefit did. Now there is no followers. You don't need to follow no one except yourself. This is the whole essence of elevation, to understand. And so that's what it is. It's a very, very strange combination. When I look at it, I was talking about this in the past few weeks. Coming from the blood of Persia, believe in Mitra, believe in Raj, believe in the three perfection in blood. Coming in a mixture of understanding
the ethos of the Moses and the flaws, coming in understanding the mixture of Muhammad and his flaws. And you stand in the middle and you marry into the world of Christianity. And you stand in the middle. Ask yourself one question. What are all these mayhems about when essence and true essence, I carry it within me in what it is, the essence of the three truths about the life in the universe. When you say talk good, do good, think good. You have no time to create mayhem. You have no time to contemplate on wars except loving. That's the result of it. It's not just the three. When you put talk good, do good, and think good, the only good thing comes out of it is loving, which is giving. Then it comes to the essence of creation. And then you see the flaws in all the religions. Because believing in Zoroaster, believing in the Mitra is the essence, is the emotion, is understanding, is not a religion. Understanding the truth about the Creator and the love and giving. And you see how they have used it to create resources and sources for themselves. To satisfy the physical soul that is different. And then we all become different. Genetic changes has no superiority, black, white, yellow, whatever. Enforcing it then becomes a criminal act. Then it becomes wrong. Then it becomes slavery of the soul of the man, not the physicality of the man. And you came to understand it's wrong to have a separation and division because of the color. Now you have to understand with the religions. Then you understand the source of essence of the living. You say, don't shoot the messenger, but the messenger who's the one who's tampered with the messenger. He opened the envelope and took some words out and he put himself in there for him to be the connection between the two lovers. You want to tell me you love her? You love me? Tell the postman. He'll come and tell me you love me. That's what happened, and the postman fell in love, so I use it. Yeah, I love you. He might love you too, but I love you more. Do it my way. That's what the soul of physicality of the messenger did. They tempered with the message. They didn't deliver the balance. That's all. It's for you to open the letter and correct the letters in the letter. And then you find it says, I love you. And your lover reads the same.
Okay, I think I understand, Mr. Keshe. I accept that the followers got their way of following by imitating the messenger. But next Friday, when we are present to elevate the souls of the messengers, we can only give what we have. We can give
We do
what
not
we wish.
have. When it comes to the level of the soul, you do not know what you have till you get there and you find out.
Okay, but where I was heading was...
Let me tell you one thing very clearly. When you are there in the true essence of dimension of the soul, then you understand, if you look at that graph, which is there physically, you tell your messenger, I have the message from the Creator, and I know what it is. Would you ask, why did you stole the 14 commandments? Why did you tell that not to kill, but you kill more than anybody else? Why should it be the kingdom of God when actually the king is God and so I'm part of it? There is no kingdom. Something very interesting for you to understand. The Queen of England has died. She's gone. When I went to England about 1973 and 1975, when it came to Christmas, because we lived in the house with understanding of the English mentality of living and being in the world of what we call English culture, English life, not getting involved much with the Iranian community, it was very interesting that English people in 1970s on the Christmas day made everything ready for Christmas lunch, the turkey and everything. And it had to be finished by 2:30 because the Queen spoke at 3 o'clock to her subjects. By 2:30, everything had to be done. Because the woman who was supposed to be the leader of the nation, the Queen, wanted to speak to her subjects, who accepted that position. And in her speech, she said, my subjects. I laughed. I said, I come from a kingdom of Iran. We have a king, we have a Shah. I never heard such a bullshit. I am a subject. We accepted. They are perfect. And now we see the mayhem in that kingdom. We accepted the false. We accepted that position to become subjects, where in fact you're as much king and a queen as they are. Maybe you're even better than them. You can teach them how to be human, how to be correct, how to be a lover. So there's no fault in you. How can you be any lower? You understood more about the love than the Queen did. How can you be a subject when you know more than your principal? We accepted that position. We are no one's subject, and we are all equal. But we know a little bit more, we share a little bit more. And we can correct this position and the situation by teaching, by elevating. That's what it comes. It's the time to elevate the soul of the physicality. Now we see the Queen of England gone. A man who was supposed to be heading so many charities has become a king. Now he cannot be involved with the charities which he spent all his life to make them charitable. What happened? Isn't time to go to him and says, you're still one of us, you did all so much. Many of the charities Prince Charles has started as a prince, now the king, are in problem. Because they were not the true essence of what he wanted. Because without him, they don't exist. Do we need to bring him back to be the head of the charities, a part of it? For the charities to exist? Do we need to elevate him? Just became, now you become a king, you have to be more charity, you have to bring more in that the charities use of your lifetime can become more effective. There is something wrong in man accepting somebody is higher than him. And that brought the kingship, and that brings the abuse. And when Moses came off the mountain, he thought he's better than the others just because he received some messages to give.
That's where the problem came. The same happened with Muhammad. The same happened before Christ in different ways. The same happened with Buddha. It doesn't matter how the Buddhists put it. Look at in his detail of his life.
So is it up to the soul of the messenger to accept the elevation?
They're ready to accept, otherwise we will not be here.
Okay.
Accepting it is not accepting it. Is elevating to become to that level, to become part of. Accepting is the wrong word.
So they just wish to become part of what we are part of as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
What it was missed, what was abused. You see, when Muhammad received the message, they keep on talking about fire. And we know that it is now. You can create a fire. Through your interaction of your soul, you can create a fire. How many times I've told you, put your soul of physicality through your hand, and your soul comes connected, you see light in your hand. That's what they saw. And that light of the soul was the soul of the creator. How they explained it as a bushfire, a tree got on fire, and blah, blah, fire. Because they couldn't say, I have a light, because there was no explanation of light at that moment. Now, scientifically, you understand two plasmas interact to create light, because that's how our daylight is created. Now you understand. Then that soul of physicality, when you saw the light, the emotion came and took control, became hand-up killing. That's all it is. Punishing the soul of Moses for the wrongs he did will not solve the problem. We become another bunch of hypocrisies and hypocritic action. Elevating for it to find out when it's done wrong, then he puts it right through the fields which he created. His own followers will go. If I'm going to fight with Vatican, I've become another antichrist and the rest of it. When he gets elevated, if he is a true Christian, to the soul of the Christ, that you have been the cause of to elevate, he will put his whatever down and he walks away. It won't happen the day after. You have to understand. It has to be kept on. The way you have been feeding the soul of this planet for years, now you feed the soul of, because they are weak. The soul of physicality of the prophets are so weak that it's even weaker than a little child. That's why they commit the crime. That's why they brought breaking their own rules, their own messages. You have to keep on strengthening it. You have to feed it till it becomes strong enough to become the soul of the physicality and soul of the man himself as well.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe.
You will understand what is to come. And in one way or another, this had to be put on the table to be sorted. If you as a human race are looking for everlasting peace. Because the emotional side, which comes through the path of the belief of the emotion, will not allow man to have peace. It's not sorted. One will is punctured. I said to diplomats in very recent past few days, you would not sort out the situation in Iran by revolutions, by other. You have to go into the mosques. You have to go into the soul of the religious leaders, that they confess to the wrong of their own through their own action, that the people will not need to go to the mosque. Then you have the revolution of self. But the problem is, this will not be only affecting the Iranian nation, it will affect the Vatican, it will affect the Jerusalem, it will affect the Buddhist temples. Because all become the same. All will fall in the same path. You know, we
all our ancestors, in one way or another, believed in different statues. Doesn't matter where we came from. Then they believed in fire or in whatever else. Then they believed in religion. They called it, because this way they could meddle with something nobody could see. It wasn't a statue, it wasn't a fire. Now, the knowledge seekers, the people who come to be enlightened with knowledge of creation, don't need a statue, don't need a fire. The same, you don't need a religion. Because you have found the elevation of the soul, the path to the Creator yourself. But do not fall that you become another prophet, because you did with the people you teach. You still have to stay humble. That's why we always call knowledge seekers, because even if you understood that, you still have to seek the knowledge of the creation, which is never ending. Then you understand the whole cycle of creation. Then we play, you want to travel, you want to go there, whatever else. Has God stopped traveling because he is the source? He's expanding his universes and unicauses. Because it's there to create more, to enjoy more of living. Just because we gave you the food and the energy, you don't sit in the corner, I'm not doing anything, I have everything. Now the process has started. There is no way one can stop it. Don't come with a sincere idea on Friday the 20th. Come there with understanding of the truth about yourself. That's all you need.
Very well. I will. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. We have a question in the chat here from delivered from Raphael. It's a question from a knowledge seeker, and the topic is about the background fear gone since December 16th, 2022. And the question goes like this. After many years of intense spiritual practice, I came to know that there is a background sense of fear that is already in the environment, and one feels it in the first thing when they wake up in the morning, but usually we cover it up with coffee or distraction. Our personal fear and anxiety is something different that comes later. I have confirmed this with other people as well, but the majority of the people are not aware of this. I noticed that since December 16th, 2022, that the background fear in the environment of the earth is gone, but I can still have personal anxiety. Can Mr. Keshe share any knowledge about this? Has there been a shift at the planetary level away from fear?
I was talking to one of knowledge seekers, I'm sure is here. They sent me a message about the 16th. And then a few days ago when I was talking to them, they said, did you understand what was the message, what happened? Some groups measuring the fields, on the 16th, they saw a change and there was no reason for it. Was that because of what happened with the 16th meeting of the Keshe Foundation? Was that the reason? We can find any excuses to connect one to another, but once a collective soul come together, can bring that change. On Tuesday of this week, we made the second test to transmute one of the knowledge seekers from one point of the earth to another. We connected the systems of everything we have. That is not just that we talk. We wanted to see that we can measure, we can graphically, scientifically see the time when
the point of transmutation starts and stops. And now physically we have that data. The same as you saw the graph here. From the second decision was made that the physical body to move from A to B, we see suddenly the change in the structure of the energy level in receiving. But the other bits, this is part of the test which Keshe Foundation is carrying out. Maybe next Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll do the first transmutation. Because we've seen where there are weaknesses. Maybe next week we see other bits we need to fulfill. And graphically, the way you saw the graph in all of you became in line with the creator on the 16th. Now we have the same in transmutation. Transmutation of human being, in essence, has started. But there's a very big but in it. That is not the one you sit on it. And that is to become able to transmute, you have to reach the state of the level of the equality and the strength of the soul of physicality and the soul of the man. We see it scientifically, we see data physically, we see it graphed. It doesn't happen a second before we start the transmutation. It doesn't happen when we stop. It happens during the time when the transmutation takes place. If our team works successfully in the next few days, plus what we're setting on the other side works out perfectly, in the next few days or weeks, we will see the first man transmutation. Because now we have scientific equipment. Now we developed our team of putting the pieces together that by next week, we have a new test ground on. So what would happen in that 15 seconds? What would happen in that 30 seconds? What would happen in that seconds from transmutation starting from one point to another? When the soul of the man and the soul of the physicality become one perfection with the soul of the creator, would you come out on the other end with defects? One leg missing, you have the leg back, you have a cancer, you don't have a cancer. We are not there to what you call test that. We are there to show man can travel in the dimension of the physical life, in the dimension of the soul, in the dimension of cosmic race. What will be the consequence of that? You come back with more cancer, you come back with two legs missing, is what was your perceived idea before you go in? When I manifest in the other place, I don't want to have two legs. Because then they say, oh, I traveled, I lost one on the way. Or I come back, nobody knows, I'm humble enough to walk away. This week, when we tested the first transmutation, our volunteer had his passport with him. Then we have to ask the other questions. When you reach that point, could Christ do this? Did Muhammad do such a thing? Why didn't they show it if they could do it? Then it shows the soul of the man reached more balance than its own messengers. Then it comes then of the pictures. But don't become arrogant in what you achieve. Become humble in what you receive. The elevation, understanding. It was very interesting to scientifically watch the transmutation. Now we even know how long we have. The gap of transmutation now is very clear for us. We have so many seconds. But you ask me how you can do this. It's very simple. I'm a nuclear physicist. I'm a scientist in the dimension of man's understanding. The body of the man, at the point of death, releases an energy equal to 18 plus Hiroshima bomb. So the body of the man, when it transmutes as an energy dimension inside itself, in the dimension of physicality, in the plasma of itself, that it has to be contained, so the soul must be over 18 Hiroshima bomb energy in the plasma state. If one Hiroshima created so much energy release and what I call confirmation of its point of release in Hiroshima, then 18 of them in motion has to create an effect. And if you have the systems, you can detect it. So the question becomes very easy if you understand it. You have last week, on the 16th of December, 160 souls. That's 150 souls. Make it easier. You have how many? 2,700 energy of Hiroshima, which bigger than that on motion on this planet. Now the answer to our knowledge seekers is people, an organization detecting whatever says what happened on the 16th of December. Nothing was happened, but they detected something. Yes, 2,700 Hiroshima energy was on the move to the Creator. Now you understand. Keshe Foundation is a scientific organization. We don't go by mysteries and guesses. We work by scientific data. We create systems to show the science of creation. Now you understand. How many of you will turn up on 20th to see the soul of the Christ? That's your problem, not mine. That's your level to see yourself even bigger than him, to guide him, that through him you bring peace. It's your responsibility to be there. If your soul carries a strength that matches his soul, that it can elevate him to become, that through him, Vatican find end zero to itself. We find peace in Ukraine, man finds peace, and the religions come to one thing: do good, act good, and think good. It's very simple. Now you understand. Would you like to be there, that you might carry the strength level which was missing, a part of it was missing in the strength of one of the prophets you believe in, that by elevating the soul of physicality, you can match it up with the soul, that through their fields, you remember what Einstein said, when one atom changes, the other one change. Through the elevation of soul of the Christ, you change the Vatican. Through the elevation of the soul of Muhammad, you end up with the rubbish because of the name of Ayatollahs and Imams and the rest. Now, nobody can give you that sentence for meeting the soul of your prophet. You go to sleep to see it. Now you talk about it as a criminal. Who says? A criminal
a thieving postman calling himself Ayatollah. To change the man, you have to go to the root of essence of his problem. And that's what it says. Then, do you see anybody higher than themselves that you become their subject? Or they're subjected to your scrutiny and they failed? I put this question to one of my children some time ago. Maybe we're all each other's understanding of the soul. Would, when the man understands that all souls are equal, all men are equal, there are no kings, would the man flatten, burn, destroy anything which is called a castle, a palace, and everything, that nobody in the future might think about becoming or creating another dimension into this? Not even a dog, let alone a human. And it's time to move, it's time to understand. Any other question?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. We have a question from Jefferson in the Q&A here, who says, good morning, Mr. Keshe. My name is Jefferson Modesto. I'm from Brazil. Thank you very much for your presence among us. I was present at the Soul Plasma Flight Experience on the 16th of December, held by the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute, and I'm very interested in learning more about this technology and how my soul can interact and evolve with its help. My question is, whenever a person moves from one point to another on the planet or in the universe through transmutation, will their physicality be different at the point of arrival than it was at the point of departure? Would a person who has implants, transplants, or lacks a body part keep those implants and transplants and these disabilities, or could they recreate the lost organs through this transmutation process? Thank you very much, Mr. Keshe.
Do you need it? If you end up on another position in the universe and you need 20 arms and one leg was missing, would you have 19 legs there? Do you need, I'll put it to you in a very simple way, because I put it to a bunch of children in the school one day. If you lose on the leg here and you appear in another dimension, another position in the universe as a jellyfish, as a fish, as just whatever, do you need any legs? Or would part of your bit will be missing because you didn't have? Or you appear as it is in that point and position? Would you be missing a kidney in New York and you go through transmutation and you appear in London? Would you have your 2 kidneys? Why man should get sick that sees salvation in transmutation? If you bring perfect condition of understanding between the soul of the soul of the man, man should never get sick. Should be never, because it can rejuvenate. It can use the resource of the universe to do the job. If I have energy I don't need, do I need a kidney at all? Because I exist as a field in the universe. I have nothing left to become to need a kidney. It's like one of the, we were told in the past few days, suddenly we see a lot of interest in Keshe Foundation, people writing to us about MedBed. Sorry, we don't have any bed. The hotel is not opened up. There's no hotel with no medical bed in it. The only sick child in man is that he has not understood his sickness from not understanding that the soul of physicality and the soul of the man has to be equal, to be in harmony. Then, do we need these things? Would you appear with 4 legs suddenly? Why do you think your missing leg will come out? Maybe you turn up with 4 legs. What are you going to do then? We have to accept the point of manifestation is what is accepted by our soul in respect to physical condition of the position of manifestation. If he has an inertia, in what is strength that it dictates the manifestation? In many tests, since we started in Linz, people came with half fish, always said, do not, we accept, because now you understand why. I'm half fish, I was half man, I could swim. And the interesting is, they don't do it to the point where it says, now you can travel. Now go and do this. Now you're free. Means the soul goes to the limitation of no limits. What I always wanted to be a mermaid. Now I see myself how I look as a mermaid. It's you knowledge seekers, you're all here, and some of you have been through the system. You know exactly how you felt, what you saw. Now you see the interaction of your body in a new area, in a new strength field, and how it reacted. You found yourself with no wings, you found yourself with no leg, and you could feel everything. It's not fairy tale. Some of you on this panel now, some of you listening now, have been to this and you went through the experience. Did we laugh at you? You made a mistake, you can't have fish? No, because that showed how good, what condition you took your soul in and what you saw yourself as. And you survive in that. And then, if by accident or by purpose, by certainty, in the understanding of this transmutation in the future, you're like, oh, I've been there, now I understand what happened to me in the machine when I was in Linz. Deja vu. But in fact, that's what it is. That's why we never laughed at you. We encourage you to tell us more, because we wanted to see what we missed from your journey. What we haven't understood that we could fix, that everybody understands. Did any of you came out of the room, 200-300 of you, whatever you've been through, and we laughed at you? We were more anxious there to know, to understand. Perfecting our system. And secondly, well, it's just like your brother goes to another country. Tell us, what did you see? What did you do? Do we like, oh, there's can't be such a thing? No, that's how the new understanding, elevation of the science is. And we got to accept it. Most of you as true knowledge seekers who came here to gain knowledge for elevation of your souls, when it comes to Friday, you'll find out, most probably some of you even feel that you have elevated the soul of the prophets who came. They needed that. That was the reason. You know, you're thirsty and somebody brings you the water and satisfies that thirst. The soul of physicality of that prophet, that messenger, needs the strength of the cup of the water which you carry as your soul. For it to be elevated. None of you know your position. Some of you come to elevate the soul of the Christ, but you end up to touch Muhammad, because that's what it is, and Christ was perfect, he had it. Or somebody amongst you served the water first before the other one. Yes, there's no thirst, but Muhammad is still thirsty. You come as a Christian, you come as a Jew, but you feed Muhammad. You come as a Muslim, you feed Moses. None of you know. This is the beauty of what's going to come up on next week. Because you come as a collective, the total, what I call unison fields, that
satisfies any thirst. You might in that process find derivation of it also. Because the more you give, the more you receive. And that process might be. Many of you are reporting a lot of things since the 16th. Physical, emotional, the things that you're realizing you didn't know. Keshe Foundation is a service delivery of the soul of the man to the soul of the creator, nothing else. It's just the DHL with the knowledge and the machine. It's you who has the package and it's you who's going to deliver that package. We just deliver the environment and the transportation and the roads. And if anybody claims any more or less, you call them another fake prophet. I am the Messiah, but the Messiah of my own soul, mine is bound to the Creator. No more, no less. Still live in a physical dimension. Any other question?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. We have a question from delivered from Cristiano from Alexandra. Mr. Keshe, did the soul of the Christ who lived with Jesus throughout his journey on earth, or was he with Jesus only in the last days of his life?
Ask him when you meet him.
Pardon me?
Ask him when you meet him.
Next week.
Is that then there is no messenger to play the Chinese message on. There is no Chinese whisper. But when you get a message, don't mix it with yours. Deliver the message you received exactly as you received it. But what you will see on the 20th, what you're going to is part of it. It's not the whole lot of it. We'll have the other part, a surprise for you when it comes to it. That you become the messengers. We don't create anything that will be another surprise that you believe in something else. Scientifically on our system, I can tell you when the soul of the physicality and the soul of the prophet has matched and has been elevated. We'll monitor everything during that session. And you might hear from me, can you go all of you back to Muhammad, he needs help. And I wonder how many of you as Christian and Jews will go and do that. Because then you're not a Jew, you're not a Christian, you're another soul of the Creator. Then all these fake names, now it's just another soul in need. It'll be very interesting how many of you walk away without faith, but believe in your Creator and bring the change which is needed, which brings peace to man from next week on. Any other question?
Question from Marco. I'm not sure if we've covered this before or not, but I'll read it and see if we can get something out of it. Hello, Mr. Keshe, Rick, and Seekers. Mr. Keshe, a few weeks ago, we asked you a question about a dream that kept repeating. Someone stole the family car. You told me to go back to my childhood and find an event that could be related to these dreams. The only thing that occurs to me is the passing of our dear Papa so suddenly in a sudden illness. The question is, do our souls not accept his death and not accept the way he died or was removed from the family nucleus? If any soul had interference in what happened to our dad, we ask the creator of the universe to lead these souls on a path of love and light so that they understand that the path of light is the way to go. Thank you, Mr. Keshe, for giving us hope for better days and lots of light for everyone.
We don't
So-
give you hope, or you the way. You have to give yourself, if you call it the hope or the truth. You have to understand, was it the car or was it the grandpa? Or do you see him as a car, as the carrier of your soul? What is your interpretation? Don't forget, I always said, what you dream about is you listening between the soul, your soul, and the soul of another. When you speak to your grandpa, who died years ago, so you're a man in between listening to two people's conversation. But these two peoples are two souls. Or you have a part of physicality, which you call it part of your dream, which relates to you in daily life. If we haven't touched on this level because it creates more confusion. The way you were intermediary between the soul, just one second. Okay. If you look at it, this is your soul, and this is the soul of the grandpa. And this is your skull, and dimension of the soul of physicality. This guy here has passed away years ago. And this is the mass of your brain. What happens between these two leaves an imprint in here that you remember as a dream. Because in here, there's some interactions and you know this noise is the grandpa's and this one is mine. But there is another dream, which this time happens between the soul of the physicality and the soul of the man. You remember this dream in a different way, as emotion. There, part of it is emotion, but most of this here is emotion. This happens 24 hours a day, as does this. This will affect your physicality. Now, with what we call psychogenetic, we have seen that you can have this affecting this, but this time goes through the process of RNA. So, what you dream and how this dream in the soul of physicality affects immediate reaction in the physical dimension of the man. You have to understand the clear position and the way you dream. What you call emotion and what you call a dream. But that dream sometimes carries emotion because it's at the strength of the field of the soul of physicality. Then you can clearly siphon out where and how it is. Do you need that physical sleep, where in fact you're always awake, but you still see the body takes a physical rest, but you're still awake, sorting out everything between this slot here and this slot here. Nowadays, I live this life. I see the physicality asleep, but the
brain is working and solving problem and doing things. People tell me you're snoring, you fell asleep. I said, I know, but I'm awake, I'm working. The body goes to sleep doesn't mean I go to sleep. And sooner or later, many of you as knowledge seekers will reach this point when there is no difference between the soul of the physicality. Take a rest. It's just like you're going for a walk or with a wife. You're still going, but the wife is tired. I'm going to sit down. I take a rest. I join later on. And the soul of the physicality take a rest. Yes, you go through your story, but I'm not asleep. I'm still working. Why do you say? At the moment, I live that life quite not often as part of my life. I do not understand what is a physical rest. Then we have to understand more about our own life, our own creation, our own cycle. What happened into this? And how things will turn up. It is part of us that needs for us to understand, and nobody else is there to do. Any other question?
We had a request from Lisbeth in the chat here. It says, thank you for the beautiful words you give us. And daily at 2100 hours, the Universal Council, we unify our souls to raise the soul of the prophets, governors, scientists, doctors, military, journalists, and knowledge seekers. Can we take 1 minute to join today, now?
Is that the personal request or is it from Universal Council? As a personal, I would say no. As if the request of Universal Council, we abide by the law. Which one is it?
She says it's Universal Council.
So we abide by it. Their decision.
Okay, then we can have 1 minute of silence and to raise the soul of the prophets, governors, scientists, doctors, military, journalists, and knowledge seekers. Okay, I'll start now. Okay, thank you, everyone.
I'd like to remind knowledge seekers something which you will understand in the future, the reason. In the cycle of man on this planet, there is nothing higher than the wishes of the soul, unanimous soul of the Universal Council. If the soul of the Universal Council in unity wishes, it becomes a command for the soul of the humanity and beyond. And sooner or later, mankind comes to understand. Any other question?
Yes, in our Q&A here, we have a question from Pamela from Brazil. Mr. Keshe, in the last teaching of 2022, a question was asked about reincarnation. You explained that this does not exist in the way we imagine, that the memories we have of the distant past are reflections of the experiences of the ancestors of our lineage. I still have doubts, and if it is possible, I would like you to help us understand. My question is, if the soul of man is created at conception and is born or freed at physical death, it could not return to the womb and be born again as a baby, as in reincarnation. So for the soul of man to assume new positions after being released from physicality, the process would be by transmutation, manifesting itself in other places according to the inertia of that environment. Would this be how a soul could return to interact with other souls?
You see, the soul, this is a very clear distinction you have to understand. Part of the soul of you at the point of physical death has become part of the soul of your children or another soul. So in part, you are reincarnated, you are reborn, but that's part of, but not as totality of, impossibility. Reincarnation as you die as blonde blue-eye Mr. John and you come and born again and Mr. John with all the memory and the packages of it is in non-existence. Cannot happen. But the way you say, my grandson has my eyes, you passed on part of you to be reincarnated as part of him. But for you to be born in the future in one of your great-grandchildren's offspring as a child, it's impossibility. So it depends what you call reincarnation. We are all reincarnated as part of the fields of our great-grandfather, great-grandmother, the great-great-great-grandfather, and the rest of it. Now we understand how. But reincarnation, the way you talk about it, is impossibility. Because even if your position in another womb to be born, the fields of that womb dictates your manifestation. You cannot be manifested the same or the same soul. It's impossibility of science, of creation. So, you believe in it or not, you can believe a horse having 20 tails on one head. That's yours. Scientifically, it's very, very simple. And I explained this many times before. The people who talk about reincarnation, they come back, whatever. You call yourself, I'm a king, I'm this and that. So you believe in it, it's yours. But in reality, you're not. It cannot happen. If you understand the interaction of field of plasma, the rotation of a plasma, the interaction of the plasma with the other plasmas and plasma, what we call magnetic fields of the universe, is impossibility that you will ever be reincarnated anywhere in the universe as you. But part of your fields as the information will be carried on in interaction with the others, create a grandchild, you might have your eyes, the look of your eyes, but not necessarily your eyes, the look of your eyes. Because part of the field of you has interacted and created that position. You call it genetic defects, but not reincarnation. Impossibilities in every word and essence, in every way that you can imagine. You stand on Earth and watch a rocket moving. You watch the trail it makes. At the beginning is a very small line, and then it opens to a cloud and then disappears. Can you bring that cloud back and make it the line and put it back in a jet? Then you can reincarnate and become that field. Impossibilities, because the field expands. Interacts. So those who believe in incarnation, let them believe. You cannot do anything with it, because it means they haven't understood the science of creation, the way the creation occurs in the world of the creation. It's not a robot cutting, getting in the same shape of screw all the time. Any other question?
Okay, we have a question from Alfred.
Rick, you need to change your screen.
Okay.
Carry. I stopped sharing and the screen changed.
Okay, just a second here. I'll get that sorted out. Okay. A question from Alfred. Thank you, Mr. Keshe, for showing ways to elevation. Now the shadow Pope is gone. Is this a good moment for Francis to lay down his frock?
What do you mean by shadow Pope?
I'm not sure what he means by that.
I think he must be talking about the Pope, which is supposed not to speak. And has he died? He was critically ill. I don't know if he's referring to that. The Pope which abdicated was reported to be sick recently. I don't know if he died.
Yeah, he passed.
Yeah, so must be that one, the shadow. I don't know if he was the shadow. He was chosen by German Chancellor, so he wasn't the shadow, he was a man on his own. Okay. Can you repeat that again?
Now that the shadow Pope is gone, is this a good moment for Francis to lay down his frock?
He has to do it on his own, through the elevation of his soul. It doesn't make much difference who was there, who was not there. It's a structure of the elevation of the soul of one man himself, nothing to do with others. Any other question?
We have Irmgard with a hand up here. Irmgard, would you like to go ahead?
Yes, thank you. I have a couple of recurring issues, one of them being money, and the other one is interfacing with technology. Those are my daily worries and banes. Specifically, I don't earn any of my own money. I'm managing money for the family. And therefore, I'm always accountable to somebody else. And so I'm always sort of in a conflict about that. And so one of the things I need to know, for instance, I need to know how much money I need to save to be able to ship the enhancement unit when the time comes. And I need to know if I need to provide accommodation for it.
That has to come from Keshe Foundation. This is something which is going through now that the systems are complete. The systems, if are shipped out of China directly to you, will come at 2 pieces. If we bring it to Austria, we complete it, we'll come out of it. This is something which we'll decide in the next, most probably 6 weeks. Because we have to bring the systems, ship it from China to Austria, fit them in, and then ship it from out of Austria to you or to any destination. Or we send the carcass and then we have to send technicians with the new technology to be added at that time. This cost has not been sorted out yet because the technology development has been so rapid that if we would have delivered the enhancement unit even 6 months ago, they'll be obsolete. We had to upgrade it. It would have been nothing to what it is today. Because part of the technology now we have developed, now we tested on the 16th and the 20th, is become part of the enhancement unit. And at the same time, we are looking at possibilities of centralizing enhancement units in the center and allocating position to those who bought it. I mean, this is your system. This is placed in such a place you can monitor it, but we run everything for you, which means you don't need a center for it. That's a very highly likely to come up, which means it has a lot of advantages for the foundation, which means the latest technology will not be disclosed. Nobody can steal it to create other problems for us. And we centralize it. It becomes like you purchase, we do all the other jobs with it, which you have purchased, then that way it has no shipping cost. This is something which we'll decide next 4 or 6 weeks, and then we announce it to those few people who bought the systems. If we do it that way, it's safer for us. We don't disclose our technology to no one. We centralize it. And it's like the money you paid is for a unit, but we run everything with it. Even your problem was finding doctors who run it. That becomes part of our running cost, our process. And whatever is used that system for, you're aware of who using it, what is created, and what comes to you from it. This is something
that sounds ideal.
Yes, it is, because we don't want other governments to get hold of, especially the new technology we developed. It's very, very crucial for us. We have spoken about it in a different way directly in the past few weeks, that if we ship these units to places where it's supposed to go and the governments get hold of them, or people get hold of them, we've seen like this craziness. It started with the medbed and other things. This way, we have our own controls. We have our own doctors, people like you. We run everything. But then people can say, I want to buy 3 machines. This is it. Whatever it is logged in. Everything is getting done very softly, but technology development has forced us to this position that even we might come back to, okay, this is the money you paid for purchase of the system
become a license fee. So this license runs for 10 years. Whatever comes from operating of this unit, you take a license fee from it. But we don't release systems into open. It's something we'll decide in the next few weeks. It has to be done because we reached the point of maturity, because we can now convert the enhancement unit, which was supposed to come as a what they call wellness unit, a combination of wellness unit and transportation, which you don't have that facility. Now we can use that facility. We can create that condition with the system. And it brings new dimension to our work. It's a technological development. When we have this, we'll put a line to it in a very next few weeks. That we draw a line that this is it, this is the point, and then we stop. It saves a lot of people. We have people in Australia who want to get, people we have in other part of the world, they want to get it, but getting certification, all sorts of things, getting import license, all this goes through the window. We open service centers, and what we call like the service centers, and your system is part of it. With it comes the doctors, the support, and everything else. You don't need to run anything. Everybody contacts a central point, which we create, and you just timetable to use up the system, and this is your system. It's been used so much today or this week or this month. This has been an income from it. This is what comes to you. Then the doctors finding a place, this all goes out of the window, and it keeps the technology within the foundation. I was with people discussing this today. And one of the reasons we shifted everything is this process of development. But give us about, I think about before March, once we do the physical transmutation, the tests are complete, and our doctors are doing other things in the background. The health side of the system is nothing to do with the Keshe Foundation, and we're supporting to complete the system with other doctors. Then these, what we call like service centers, has to come to operation, because there's a huge need for transmutation and wellness. And those who came to us and supported us well will be looked after completely by us in every aspect. You can still run the business, tell us, I have these people, those people can contact you, but again comes to the central point for distribution and allocation. It's something very much, but not really. It's like a timeshare, but you own the apartment. It's all yours. The only thing is you decide who shares what part of it.
That's wonderful.
This is part we didn't have to sort it. We are forced into that position that we don't get blockage by the government's stolen technology. Everything stays within the foundation. And as I said, today's delay was part of it. Trying after the huge damage we suffered a few weeks ago, as all of you know, now we had to restructure it that the foundation stays solid and such a thing cannot happen, and we stay solid. And this is what I've been doing in the past couple of days to bring all this in a correct way together financially and everything else. It takes a lot of people. You don't need to look for a doctor. You don't need to look for a place to put it. We centralize it. At the moment, we're running a trial like this with some doctors. Some of the knowledge seekers here know who they are. It's not something that we're going to be talking about. We're running what you call trials with it to see it works. Doctors stay in charge. We provide the facility of the technology, and they do everything else. And it seems to be that the trial has been going on for a few months, and it seems to be a perfect way to do it. You don't need to repair anything. Any technological advancement comes immediately, gets implied and applied to the system. And this is the way we see it to be done.
Wonderful. Other question is also about those home energy enhancement units. I will need to be working with someone.
No, that one, I think it should be shipped sometime this week. There was a slight, what we have a delay for a few days is that we asked our Iranian
manufacturing side, we want every single unit to be tested before it leaves Iran, before we complete it here. You understand? It was no use with sending it and then it'll be tested. And that has delayed by 1 or 2 or 3 days. The system are made, they're going through what you call it, a testing phase. And you don't need, it's a plug and play. Now the way it's done with our Iranian team is that literally when it comes to Austria, we completed, you just need to plug and play. And it's immediate, you can put it anywhere. But the units were ready to ship last week, but we asked for every single one to be tested before it leaves the factory. And they need 24 or 48 hours duration for each system to go through a test. They have to stand what they say. And the test results shows every one of them runs around about 30-40% reduction plus. And it builds up to about 80-90%. Those of you who bought these systems, you should start seeing them before end of January deliveries and early February. And those of you who want to get it, you can come to Linz physically purchase and go. Any other question?
Okay, I've got a question from the Chinese community from Achilles Da. He says, good evening, Mr. Keshe. I'm a knowledge seeker from the Chinese community. I need to ask a question about adding magnesium into the CO2 or the cup 1 GANs. In a recent teaching, Mr. Keshe mentioned that to process the new version of virus, one needs to add pure magnesium tablet or plants which carry large amounts of magnesium to the original cup 1 GANs, and magnesium chloride should not be used. My understanding from this is that one can use the magnesium GANs from a plant or add pure magnesium into his GANs. But Dr. Farzam Berapur from the Iranian community warned me that pure magnesium or say magnesium metal cannot be used because it's highly dangerous, could kill a patient. So I'm confused because there's no pure magnesium tablet available on the market. Even the tablet which Dr. Farzam suggested is made of magnesium taurine instead of pure magnesium. And I can only find magnesium tablet which is made of magnesium oxide or magnesium salt like magnesium glycine, magnesium lysine, magnesium citrate, and so on. So my question is that, is it true that using magnesium metal is highly dangerous in a health application? If magnesium chloride should be avoided, why is the magnesium salt or of organic acid is okay? He goes on a bit here.
I know this is a question which has come out of China. You have to understand a large number of people have died in the past few months of the new cycle of COVID. Now the Chinese government has changed it from epidemic to infection. And one of our close collaborators in China 2-3 days ago lost his mother to corona. And it's a large number of old people in China are dying from it. What the Chinese government is saying is not a hoax. It's not. They are facing with this, and some of our own knowledge seekers in China have been affected. They feel suicidal. I can open the Telegram and other messages because we're on the WeChat on the Chinese side of our operation. Many of the knowledge seekers have been affected by the new corona. They have suicidal thoughts. They had that deprived of energy. They have all sorts of complications now. We keep on telling them because we've seen it. I had news from one of our Brazilian people who came with the same thing a few weeks ago. And I told them, you just stick to magnesium. And I think yesterday, a couple of days ago, I saw a message that it has worked or whatever, and she's better. Raphael sent me a message about it. And it's the only way we can stop that emotional physicality to do with death and depression with this magnesium, with this case, with this corona. We advise you to use magnesium tablets you buy from chemists and make a gans of it and add it 2 to 3% for your wellness into the cup 1, cup 2. It's just, don't touch the gans, it's just the water of it. And it takes time, a month, 2 months, and you just walk away from it gradually. This is not a cure, this is not medicine. This is understanding the physiology of the energy within the structure of the soul of the man and soul of physicality. It's the energy which you need to transit. So that's what you're going to do with your profits on next Friday. It's that part which needs to be elevated to move it from energy-wise to another. And magnesium as a GANS has part of that energy structure. And it has to be done very, very small steps. The way we gave it gift of Christmas, what they call it, New Year's Eve to the Chinese nation, the cup 1, exactly 3 years ago now. Chinese New Year is next week on the 20th, 21st. Now is another gift for it, not only to Chinese, but around the world. And magnesium GANs, we prefer not to use chloride and others, but if you can get a magnesium tablets, pure magnesium tablets, usually magnesium tablets are accompanied by calcium. You buy it as a mixed tablet. We recommend it to be, but Dr. Parapu, as a medical doctor, decides. We suggest how the material is used, and the way it's used is done with the consultation with Dr. Parapu as a leading doctor in Keshe Foundation. What do you call it, the operation of the wellness. We don't touch it. We suggest what needs to be done as doctors, Dr. Parapu and other doctors who work around the foundation. They consult with us and they decide what it needs to be done. So it has to be taken as, from the doctor point of view, they are doctors, they know what they're talking about. From scientific point of view, as a plasma technology, we see the interaction of the fields, how it is. The gas is more natural way, is already converted, and that can give you a small percentage, so it takes a bit longer. But Raphael is on the line. He wrote the message a couple of days ago. Raphael, would you like to tell us what you received or what you wrote to us? People understand it literally works. It does what it says. It's this is an emotional level of strength of COVID. And we do not have a solution for such a thing in the world of medicine, in the world of plasma technology, as we suggested, and many of the benefits by it. It can be done with the plasma of the magnesium. How it's done in the physical dimension is the decision of our doctors. Yes, Raphael is there.
I've opened, allowed the microphone to be open. Go ahead, Raphael.
Hi, hello, Mr. Keshe. Hello, everybody. So, Mr. Keshe wanted me to say about the lady who got better.
Yeah, who got better from Brazil. She brought to us a couple of days ago because we had a discussion with the lady between you and as a translator and her. So you've been through the process, how she felt.
Yes, you advised her to use the cup 1 with the magnesium in the meeting. And she was feeling very bad for, I think, for 4 months. She was feeling very bad, very depressed with suicidal thoughts. And after that meeting, she started using the magnesium with the cup 1. And after, if not wrong, after 2 months using this continuously, according to her, every day, then after 1 month, she still was not feeling better. She sent me a message saying that she was not feeling good yet, but you advised her to wait a little bit more and continue using. So after more 1 month, now in January, beginning of January, 2 days ago or 3 days ago, she sent us a message saying that she was feeling much better and saying that she was very thankful for you, for your help, and for all that you spoke to her.
It just takes time. In the world of, thank you very much, Rafael. In the world of medicine, we don't have anything unless they put you on different things. As we know, anything like a suicide or depression is field dependent. We handle it as a plasma, not as a medicine. We handle it as a processing of the condition. And it works. We've done with many, many knowledge seekers around the world who've used it and seen the results of it. The game of the COVID has stepped itself up through regeneration and elevation of its strength. And that comes from the physical condition of the lung and also, as we saw, into emotion. And we know how to handle that part. So instead of going in psychiatric treatments and all that, whatever, it's not our job. But we understand what emotion is, how it's created, and it's just a picture of what I drew before. It crosses between the soul of physicality and the soul of the man, and we know how to elevate for this strength of COVID. And we give the concept, the understanding, and it's for the doctors and yourself to test it and try it. Keshe Foundation puts all the knowledge through 2 or 3 doctors. We advise and then they decide. Any other question?
A couple more questions on the magnesium. We have, let me show the image here so that you can comment on it. A picture that was placed in one of the Telegram groups by Randy with a
do you see, before I go anywhere, do you see a name? Oh, it disappeared now. It came with somebody writing their email. I tried to take them out, but they're gone by now. It's okay.
Okay, so this, excuse me.
Carry on. I can see the image.
Yeah, okay, this is an image from Randy, and there's another accompanying image. So this is, he says it's got a zinc plate, a nano copper plate, and a magnesium plate. And
not advised.
Not advised. Okay, this is the GANs. He says the GANs is very light and fluffy and looks very nice and so on, but not advised.
No,
okay,
because this creates a totally different condition than what we are looking for.
Okay.
This is not advised, especially you have that zinc plate. It's not advised.
Okay.
Okay.
And see, there is another question. Can we use the magnesium from the Keshe Foundation shop from the store?
Those you can use. Yeah, we have it.
You can actually open them and put them in because they're designed to be a sealed bottle that can be placed outside the water dispenser.
But with this, you can still leave it outside the outside dispenser into your gases. You don't need to open it to mix it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It will have the same effect, or if you want to open it, make sure you just only touch the GANS water and not the GANS of it, what you create.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good advice and all that. Thank you for clarifying, Mr. Keshe.
Shall we call it a day, or have we got more?
Sure, sure, if you wish. Yep. I think you've covered just about all the questions anyway here. So
Thank you very much for today. And I hope I gave you a very clear, we never make message so clear as that what we done today in the teaching part. What is our purpose? As I said to one of our knowledge seekers who wrote, she hoped that the globalists will go away very soon. I said, we are not globalists, we are universalists, as I said before. We have to prepare man for the interaction with the universal community. And man has to become man of peace before he's taken to the party. And peace comes not only in the dimension of guns, it comes in the dimension of emotion. And those who incite violence or war through the essence of emotion of the faith. And that has to be sorted by the man who brought the faith, not by his soldiers. The commander has to issue the command. And the command of peace has come through the soul of Moses, not through the man in the shape of ayatollahs or popes or rabbis. They're servants, and it has to come from the master. And it's your job to give the right message to the master that the master corrects his conduct. Thank you very much for today. We'll see you next week.
okay, thank you very much, Mr. Keshe, once again for yet another Knowledge Seekers Workshop here, number 467 on Thursday, January 12th, 2023. Our next public teaching workshop, let me look at the calendar here, will be the One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace, coming up on January 17th, Tuesday, January 17th, and that starts at 4 p.m. Central European Time. And that's with members of the Universal Council, and people are welcome to join in and to bring any problems that can be solved on the soul level by the Universal Council as well. And we look forward to that. Okay, I think that's it for announcements. And we'll go out with our Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit music version here. And we'll see you all in the next public teaching workshop. Thank you and bye for now.